Are you a known procrastinator? I think most of us struggle with really getting things done on time, or the time that would be ideal to have them done. When I was in college, I really struggled a lot with setting good times to get projects done, or really remembering when a test was going to be, especially with everything just going on in my life. I actually recall in one specific class, it dropped my grade from a B to a D because I forgot the time that a test was going to be at and I couldn't retake it or do anything with it. Some of these results can be pretty crushing if you just simply forget a single time, especially when it comes to things like taxes. You could end up having penalties, fees, or really just make someone upset by missing out on something that you agreed upon. Well, I have the perfect solution to fix this problem. I read the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and in that book there was the suggestion for a calendar. And I've played with this idea and made my own kind of calendar based off this idea from the book. My calendar is a two-piece system. It has the calendar and then a secondary board. And with these two together, it really makes a powerful combo. I want to show you how it works. The first piece is the calendar itself, and both pieces are whiteboards. It makes them really easy to add things and remove things and move to the next month. I don't have to worry about getting a new calendar. Now, right now what I do is I do X's and O's. So an X is when I meet a habit that I've been trying to work on, and an O is when I miss that habit. It makes it really effective having this on the calendar to keep track of how well you're doing with a new habit you're trying to install in your life. And it keeps you accountable. It makes it easier to not just simply forget about it when things start to go off track. And then I set reminders for things that I have to get done, like appointments and things. And then I'll place things on the calendar that are maybe somewhat of a challenge or something that I want to try to do that maybe is going to push me a little bit. So this month I have little R's for running. I'd kind of slipped up on my running habit. So what I decided to do was I'm going to run every Wednesday, whether it's raining or snowing or whatever the case is going to be. I'm going to go out and get a jog on those days. Something like that really pushes me a bit and then keeps me on track with doing little goals or little things that I want to get done in my life. It's really effective for things that you might be putting off or just normally you would forget about if you didn't have the system in place. Now, for the second piece, which is our blank whiteboard, what I do with the blank whiteboard is I'll write out tasks that I want to get done. Now, some of these things can take a while to actually complete or have the time to do. So one thing on mine would be a hair test that I want to get done to test for minerals or heavy metals and things like that. It's not something that I was immediately in a rush to do. However, having this just simply on the board reminds me that it's something that I want to do. So at the beginning of the month, when I'm filling out my new month, I can look at this board and maybe pick off a couple things that I want to try to tackle that month. Now, it's not going to be a good month for skydiving, for example, next month, so that's not something I'm going to do. And that's also something that I've actually kind of put off in the background. It's something that I've been kind of scared to do as a fear, doing the skydiving. However, keeping it on the board does keep me accountable, even if it has been a year or it moved on to a second year. It's something that reminds me that it's an item that I wanted to complete. And eventually it'll push me in that direction of doing it, even if it does take a little bit more time than what would seem ideal. This secondary board is great if you want to write down goals, and then what you can do is find out all the steps to meet that goal. And then you can break it down and have all the little pieces, and then maybe you just do one little piece towards that goal every week or something like that. And that'll really start to add up over time. You'll start to become a much more effective person having all these little things that you need to do and steps on how to achieve the things that you want in your life. It'll really surprisingly change your life dramatically if you don't have a system like this in place. Something so simple that really can yield some massive results over time by just simply having a little whiteboard that tells you when to do something or what you need to do. Also, this secondary board is great when you get an idea in your head about some change that you want to make in your life. For example, yesterday I was listening to a health podcast and they were talking about an Aura ring for sleeping. And I'd been kind of thinking about doing some work and improvement on my sleep. So, of course, I just added that to the board. It makes it a perfect thing for me to look into because I realized that, okay, I actually have to figure out my ring size to get this ring. I can't just order it, it won't be quick and simple. However, by writing it down on the calendar, then I'll have an actionable date that I'll remember to take action on that item instead of just having it something that floats around. And then eventually I'm just like, well, I don't really want to figure out my ring size, and then I just totally forget about it. So it can be a real huge thing for enhancing the quality of your life just by simply remembering these little things that you were normally just putting off, and then eventually you just forget. And then you never end up getting those changes in your life. Hopefully you'll be able to implement these whiteboards into your life and this calendar system. These whiteboards cost me about $12 a piece, and they've well paid themselves off at this point. It's a great investment into your overall productivity and just reaching the goals that you want in life. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button for me and leave me a comment down below on some of the things that you plan on putting on your secondary whiteboard for your tasks that you want to complete. Have a great day.